This is false to page 200. Page 200. This is Paul Samuelson in the middle of the gray box, writing about Keynes' book. It's a very hard book to read. There are no diagrams in it. So here it is. It's a badly written book. Paul Samuelson is a Nobel Prize winner, and he's the uncle of Larry Summers. So Larry Summers has two Nobel Prize winners who are his uncles, Ken Narrow and Paul Samuelson. So two uncles are Nobel Prize winners. Sadly, the Nobel engine room did not reach Larry. Most obnoxious person I've met in economics. As a grad student, I could say that. Attitude oozed from every pore in his body. I've said that before. Okay, it's a badly written book, poorly organized. It is arrogant. Remember, Keynes had attitude in our language. Reporters would leave his office in tears. People would say, "What is a good G? What is G?" He said, "I don't know. Dig holes, fill them up. I don't know." Being sarcastic. And later on, people would be quoting him. Keynes said, "Doesn't matter, dig holes, fill them." No, he was being sarcastic. This is before he met Lydia. After he met Lydia, no sarcasm. He wrote poetry. He became sweet and nice. It's bad-tempered. Yeah, he was polemical. It abounds in mares, nests, and confusions. Flashes of insight and intuition intersperse tedious algebra. When it is mastered, we might find its analysis to be obvious and at the same time new. In short, it is a work of genius. Is that not beautiful? The same paragraph he starts with, "It's a badly written book," and ends that way. I love that. So, here we go, a Keynesian model properly. Maximum and micro. I've given you directions to his office in Cambridge. When you travel again, Cambridge is definitely worth a visit from London. It's a great day trip. Those of you interested in military history, the 8th Air Force was based there. There's a museum, and talk to me and I'll tell you what to look for. Did you see my clip on Veterans Day? Okay. All right, here we go. Keynesian aggregate supply. So we have done this model. We did the classical. So this is the 20s. And now we are doing the Keynesian aggregate supply. Fundamental assumption. Percentage change in P is not equal to percentage change in capital W. So capital W is, what is capital W?
Wages.
I'm sorry for the confusion. So this is nominal wages, nominal wages, paycheck. So in other words, this is a story that's always true for emerging economies. India, China, Thailand, South Korea, Argentina, Brazil. South Korea actually may not be an emerging economy, probably closer to a mature economy now, like Japan. So yeah, so here we are. So in this world here, if inflation is 5%, the paychecks may only go up 1.5%. Much more realistic. If inflation is 3%, this is for the whole country. Inflation of wages may go up 0.7%. Not like the classical assumption where inflation was 2%, paychecks went up 2%. This is the whole country we're talking about, not you and us. At your level, pretty much you're getting what inflation is, or you should be getting.
So
Why was he willing to follow the same production function but not the same supply function?
Wow. I'm going to take you there.
Okay.
The beauty of his world, David, is not in the production function, the labor market that sits right below it. So here we go. So it's 3% inflation, nominal wages will be less. Two assumptions, two crucial assumptions. If labor demand is greater than labor supply, nominal wages capital W adjust fully to prices. So in other words, demand for labor is 100 workers, and the supply of labor is 70 workers. Then it kind of makes sense, right? That your wages will go up quickly because your people are, there's excess demand for wages. Like what's happening right now with a lot of people leaving the workforce, and the few in there, when they switch jobs, they're getting 30%, 40%, 50% increases in salary right now. Second assumption, this is first assumption. Second assumption is P changes first, and W, oh, I'm sorry guys, don't write that, sorry. If labor demand is less than labor supply, let me finish this, then W does not adjust. Aren't you glad, by the way, you don't have to drag him tomorrow? It's online. Think about how it was all week, and then Saturday and Sunday, that was just too much.
When did you change that? Like recently, or?
This is a post-COVID. Post-COVID.
Before that, it was Saturday, Sunday was okay.
It was just the people on Sunday afternoon were saying, "Farooq, I don't even know if they were hearing anything. It was so gone." People were flying off, people who bring the suitcases, they're flying off somewhere Sunday night, you know. It was too much. And wives and husbands were calling me, "Are they really in class?" In some cases, do they have meetings at 3 and then we're okay.
What are we doing to Spouses Day, so they see what we're doing here in this class?
So I will do a 3-hour macro thing for them.
Is there really a spouse day?
Yeah, in spring. So I bring in a couple articles, and I do what I do in the mini MBA. It's a standalone 3-hour thing, jump-starting, soft landing, supply side.
You're gonna make it really hard to
No, it's actually very fun and interesting. But it's sprinkled with, man, I don't know how your spouses and partners do it. They must be superhumans. Stuff like that. Wink, wink. By the way, it blew up in my face the first time I did it. I told you the story, right? I invited them to the weekend residence at Dolce. I told you the story?
No.
First time I did it was in Dolce, Basking Ridge. Brought the spouses and I told you. Then the chef shows up wearing his chef's hat. It was homemade ice cream and it just blew up in my face.
Yeah, we don't.
Spouses were like, "We are sending our partners on a vacation. This is like a cruise." I'm like, no, come and look at the whiteboard. That was not that cruise.
The day they come, don't do the buffet style, just keep just minimal water.
Bread and water, that's it.
And a cereal bar.
In the bars. Bread and water.
Please.
Your choice is cereal with nuts, cereal without nuts. Costco brand. None of this home foods, none of the Christian shopping. You're a Costco guy? Yes. Maybe when are we meeting?
Hey, you tell me, man. Thanksgiving, how about that?
Costco.
They sell alcohol, they sell food.
Wow. No, ours doesn't. Ours doesn't. Okay, here we go. So look at this here, folks. Labor demand is 65 and labor supply is 75. So labor demand is less than labor supply. Then there's no change in wages. So wages change only when that happens. And second assumption, stay with me, folks. P changes first. And W changes only later. And I promise I'll explain this after the break, if at all. So, these are the assumptions. I'm not going to derive. Am I amplifying? Is anything happening?
Here, you're good.
Thank you. So, I'm not going to derive the aggregate supply for you like I used to do and spend 25 minutes. It's in the book. I'm going to give it to you now. Here we go. We're going to use it for policy. Can I erase this? How many groups do we have in your class?
7.
7?
We are number 7. Yeah.
Did you finally get a name for your group?
We don't. Yeah, we all have name now.
What
Only
is-
the fifth one did not have a name. Now they have.
What is the name for the 5th one?
Baking.
You put it all on Vicky.
Nicole finally got a name.
Forecaster. For FOU.
Oh, okay. The forecasters. Very nice. Do we have the safe havens? There's no safe havens? Okay.
Yeah. We wanted to. My group shut it down.
All right. Here we are. Stay with me, folks. Here we go. 5 diagrams. This is what we'll be working with for the rest of the day. And this is the full Keynesian framework. This is Biden on steroids model. This is the whole planet is gone Keynesian. Supply siders have essentially vanished. They come out only at night. Having said that, Narendra Modi in India and old Zhurongji, not Xi Jinping, Zhurongji in China previously, they tried a fusion approach. Mexico earlier, Argentina, so I'm taking you there. Here we go, I0, Y0, C0, plus I0, plus G0, Y0. Here we go, the Keynesian aggregate supply, aggregate demand, P0, Y0. This is the Keynesian model in 2 diagrams, firewall. Same production function, David. However, labor market N0, Y0 production function. This is very powerful, by the way. Very controversial. If you were to bring your MBA at Chicago, Booth, Rochester, Minneapolis, you would really, I'm serious, you would not be shown this. N0, labor demand, W0, P0, labor supply, employment. Here we are, everything. We got jobs here. This is little W0. This is real wage on this axis, real wage. Remember, always real wage in macro. The output, these are all percentages. So all percentages here. This here is, what's this? What's this point here?
Maximum employment.
Yes, Smriti, Y max at how much employment?
Full employment.
Full employment. And maximum capacity. And what is this gap here? Can you tell me? After you finish copying?
Unemployment.
Yes, so this one here, and try, everyone will work with me from now. Don't look at your books. That is the unemployment. Look at this. I'll give you a few seconds to copy.
Are you assuming unemployment because it's Keynes? You looked out the window?
You're so close, David. You're so close. Look at this, folks. Please look at me for a second. Why have I chosen this weird point in the labor market? This is the labor market here. Why have I chosen this weird point in the labor market? Look at this. From here to here, can you see from here to here? From here to here is labor demand, is hitting the demand curve. So let's call this 70. From here to here, where it hits the labor supply, where it hits the labor supply, it's 95. Okay, so here to here, Rob, can you see that's a right angle? Smriti, here to here labor demand, here to here labor supply. So this gap here is how much? 25, and that's U0, which is initial unemployment. So you're looking at unemployment for the first time in our analysis. And can you answer David's question? Why did I start with this funky point sitting there where there is some initial unemployment in our story? Why?
Because Y is lower.
You're there, I think. Why did I start with that point? Hari, Rajesh, Christian?
Y0 is at unemployment, low employment, Y0.
Okay, thank you. So let's combine what Smriti and Dipti said. Look at this. We are here right now in Y0, right? Y max is at full employment. So there is still some slack left in the labor market. There are still people left to employ. So that point corresponds to this point. There is still room to grow. There is still room to grow in the labor market. So that's why you always start in a class discussion, unless I tell you otherwise. That's your default starting point. As long as you are here and not yet here, you would get full employment here. But here, you're still in stage 2, right? Looks like?
Yes.
Right? So that means there's still people out there you can hire. There is still slack. So Y0 and Y0. Still,
At the, that's 70 and then.
hang on just a second, left in the labor market since not yet at Y max, which is at full employment. So it's writing everything down. So when you look at your notes, it all comes back to you, which is at full employment. That's your starting point. And after this, let's take a break. Let's just do 15 minutes today, please. And then we will do the Keynesian model. You'll do a couple exercises. And then I'll transition, depending on the time, either to the Great Depression or to something equally important. Depends on how we do. So I've set it up. I'll explain to you why we started that point in the labor market, because there's room to grow, there's slack in the economy. And I'm gonna do the first ISM and then you do a couple of more. This is like flat up here. Okay, let's take 15 minutes and come back.